Hello friend, my name is Raza Masood. Today we will discuss about a topic sprint zero. Normally it's this topic is always discussed or asked in a interview question, or you heard this topic in scrum meetings. So friend, let me tell you that this topic pertains to scrum or agile methodology, and we will discuss this topic in detail in this tutorial. So first of all, I would request to please subscribe to my channel and click on the bell option as well. So let's start. Friend, whenever we talk about sprint or agile or scrum, so this topic normally heard, we listen about it sprint zero. So before going into the deep sprint zero, first we want to see that what is sprint. What is sprint in a scrum or agile? Friend, a sprint is a 3 to 4 week time period in which we have to deliver the task, the things to customer. Friend, you know that in the scrum methodology, what we have to do, that we will divide the task in chunks. For example, let's assume that you have to deliver e-commerce website to customer. Okay, let's assume that there are 40 tasks to complete the e-commerce site. So in a scrum, what we will do, we will divide these 40 tasks, for example, in 10 tasks, like 10 tasks for each sprint. What does that mean? That we will divide the 40 tasks in 4 sprints, and each sprint will contain 10 tasks. That means that in 1 month you will complete 10 tasks, and in 4 months you will complete the 40 tasks. Are you with me? Are you getting my point? So in that means that in 4 months you will complete the whole e-commerce web application or e-commerce site. But here there is a difference. The difference is that first you will complete the 10 tasks in a sprint, which is of 1 month, and you will showcase the work to customer and get his feedback. So a sprint means, you can say, around 3 to 4 week time period in which you have to complete the task and you will showcase it to the customer. So this is a main concept of sprint. Sprint is just a time period, a time frame of about 3 to 4 weeks. It is not necessary always it should be a 4 week. It can be 5 weeks, or it can be a 6 weeks as well. Normally, sprint is of 4 weeks. You can say 1 month time period. So time frame time boxing concept is that that you have to deliver these particular tasks in a sprint. Sprint is a time box, it's a time frame of normally or generally a 3 to 4 weeks time frame. So sprint is just a time frame. The concept of sprint is that it's a time frame in which we have to deliver the task to customer. Okay, so that is the concept of sprint. Now coming towards the sprint zero. Here it's a very interesting thing is that there is no such thing like sprint zero. If you study the scrum body of knowledge, or if you study these standard terms of the scrum body of knowledge or a scrum framework, you will notice that there is no such term called as sprint zero. So how it comes in our mind, where it come from, this sprint zero? Friend, sprint zero is a term. Generally it's a term, it's not a part of a scrum framework. Let me tell you clearly that there is no such term, a standard term for sprint zero. Basically it's a term used by normally core team when we are planning, when we are going to start the planning for sprint. So at the time of starting the sprint planning, we put some time like discussing about the task, the technology which we have to use, the about customer, how we will use, what type of, how many resources would be required. So just see this diagram, this figure. So sprint zero is a time frame in which we are basically not delivering anything to customer. So that's why we are saying that sprint zero is nothing. because we are not delivering anything to customer. So as per definition, if we talk about as per the standard, sprint 0 is nothing, it's not anything. But in a general term, sprint 0 is a time frame in which we put some time to discuss about the task, the technology, the things which we are going to deliver, how many resources would be required. So core team, scrum core team, product owner, the scrum master, they will discuss about each other. They will discuss that how many resources would be required. So before starting the actual sprint planning, like sprint 1, we can put some time about the planning. So you can say it's a pre-planning stage. It's a pre-planning stage. Before starting the actual planning, we can give some time about the high level things. Okay, what should be the what should be the technology, how many resources would be required. So it, you can say it's a pre-plan phase. Before starting the actual planning, we can give some time for high level planning, or you can say some high level things we can discuss about. But remember one thing, why we are saying sprint 0 is nothing. Why we are saying, because in the, as per the definition of sprint of a standard, a scrum body of knowledge, we should deliver something to customer. Okay, like for example, in the previous example we were discussing that sprint means that you decide after the scrum meeting, sprint meeting, you decide that you have to deliver 10 tasks to customer. So sprint means that you decide few things, few tasks, that at the end of the sprint you will deliver it to the customer. So as per the definition, this is the time frame 1 month, or you can say 1.5 months, in which you have to, at the end of the sprint, you have to deliver few things to customer. But if we talk about sprint 0, you see that you are not going to deliver anything to customer. So as per the definition, it does not fulfill the definition of a sprint. So that's why we are saying that sprint 0 is nothing. As per the definition, it does not come under the definition of a sprint 0, a sprint. But we still saying that sprint 0 is not part of the scrum body of knowledge, or not part of the scrum standards, scrum framework, but it's a general, it's a term which normally discuss when we are going to start the meetings, when we are doing the planning meetings. So normally it's term, this term discussed, or normally this question asked in the interview, that what is sprint 0. So you can answer that sprint 0 is basically a time frame which we put before starting the actual planning of sprint, to discuss about, to get know how about the sprint, about the project, about the task, about the technique, technology, about the resources, who is the scrum master, who is product owner, who other team members are involving, what project, what is the scope of the thing. So it's just a, so you can say a high level discussion, high level pre-planning phase before starting the actual sprint. If you see from here, just see this diagram, it will give you, you can just remember this diagram. Sprint 0 is nothing, because you are not going to deliver anything. It's a pre-planning phase before starting the actual planning of the sprint. Are you getting my point? Sprint 0 is nothing, it's a pre-planning phase before starting the actual planning of sprint. So normally it happens that when we are going to start the actual planning, we put some time to discuss about the project, about the phases, about the customer, about the technology, how you should go, how, what should be the lessons learned, etc, etc. So give some time to discuss about, to before pre-planning, before starting the actual planning. So this is called the term named as sprint 0, which as per the scrum body of knowledge, there is no such term for sprint 0. But when we talk about the core scrum team, when they are discussing with each other, so normally we use this term sprint 0, and in the interview question this term is also asked. So you should be prepared, you should have the knowledge that what does that mean. Sprint 0 means a pre-planning phase before starting the actual phase, to get know how to do some pre-planning before starting the actual planning of sprint. So friend, that's all from my side. I hope you like this video. If you like it, please share it with your friends and colleagues, and that's all from my side. Thank you, thanks a lot.